Holy crap, what a mess. So I went outside, took a break. About 15 minutes is what I like to take in between my last destructive movement and entering into a building. Is about 15 minutes. Is kind of what it takes for the dust to settle. So I went outside, sat in the sun for a little bit, took a break, unsweated for a minute. This thing came down as one big unit. That's kind of cool. Big unit. I didn't find anything of any exciting value. I don't want to stir up too much dust because there's decades of just funk and shit in here. So I really don't want that inside of me, and I don't have my particulate mask on. But what I did find was a calendar. Not as old. Ooh, some receipts in there. Ooh, piece of candy. 1963. Calendar from 1963. Northwestern Savings and Loan Association. Think they're still around? What have we got here? Can I find any money? What is this? RCA Industries Home Study Courses. Oop, oop. Extreme close-up. Sorry, guys. 1964 calendar. It's all new stuff. Notes. Check receipts. So far, that's it. So far, that's it. And at some point in time, underneath this linoleum, they put particle board. See if you can see it. There it is. Particle board. That's why all those seams have popped. The most useless piece of lumber, most useless use for lumber is particle board. That stuff is junk. For subfloor, all you have to do is think of moisture and it pops and it crumbles like this. Junk. So that's all we have to come up. That's great. Actually, right now I got to break all this down into small pieces. I have to, and this trim here, if you guys were wondering or worried, this is not original. This is some kind of oak. Well, not some kind of oak, it is oak. And it was put in with pneumatic nails. So it's not original. This trim along the face is not original that I pulled off. This originally had a flat face. The flat stock underneath it was the original. So I'm gonna shut up now, stop talking, and break all these down into flat pieces. So I ended up stripping the entire stove wall. I was able to salvage all that wooden beadboard, the chair rail, and the baseboard, which is right here. Here's all that beadboarded wainscot. It's actually not beadboard. I keep calling it beadboard. It's a V-groove. There's no bead milled in there. It's just a V. It's a V-groove. The stove wall by code needs to have 5/8 sheetrock on there, 1 hour fire rating. And that 1/4 inch rock that I showed you in the trailer was not going to cut it. Besides the fact it was full of 1 billion holes. Well, maybe not 1 billion holes. Maybe only 943 million holes. But 1/4 inch, no bueno. So I ended up stripping this whole wall, got all the nails pulled. I didn't pull the casings around the door, which are fine. At this point, it's kind of I don't know. I can put new rock right up to that door casing, and that'll pass code. That's not a code thing. And another cold storage. So that leads me to believe. Now here's what's interesting. Back in the day, before indoor refrigeration, before any kind of refrigeration type deals, this must have been the cold box. This was the fresh air box. You put there must have been a floor to ceiling thing here, right? And this is where you put your fruits and veggies. These louvers here are made of wood. These louvers here are made of galvanized sheet metal. So I think I'd mentioned before about the ice cubes. This one must have been the ice cube storage container for your meats and what else that had to be cold, your milk and your meats and stuff. Because these vents were done, this is obviously original construction from the late 1800s. These vents were done in metal. These vents were done in wood, and when I tore this whole unit out here, there was a lot of rot on the bottom of the unit. There was a raised floor over this original subfloor, tongue and groove subfloor. So this one must have been the Ice Cube one, and couple that with the metal trays. Typically what I've seen on these, just the fresh air, cold storages, they're wooden. They're like wood slats that just allows the air to circulate through there. So I don't know if that's interesting to anybody, but I find that kind of stuff kind of cool. And I did find some other newspaper shoved into the wall from a couple little scraplets from June. Let me go macro. June 6th, 1950. So it looks like around June of 1950 was when they added that upper hutch of some sort. Or maybe they added that whole hutch. It's hard for me to tell. This is wainscoting. This is the same V-groove wainscoting that was along here. So it's quite possible that there was some sort of thing here, but not that thing that I tore out. Because remember, there was plaster up here, and then around the exposed stuff they had put that 1/4-inch sheetrock around the windows. So I'm almost thinking that there was a, here's the plumbing holes in the wall here, so they had a wall mounted faucet. They probably had some free basin thing, sink thing here, and the fact that this Battleship Gray, you can see they had baseboard here. So at one point in time this was exposed. Yeah, this was exposed. It is what it is. And then they came in likely in June of 1950, and is when they did that built-in deal with the thing up top, because I ended up pulling all that plaster off. There's a lot of weird construction in here. They had a plaster ceiling at one time, and looks like they ran some furring strips and put 1/4-inch sheetrock, probably 1950, right? Because back in the day, in the 1800s, they didn't have sheetrock. Or drywall. This is actually called drywall back then. Sheetrock is a brand name. Sorry if I keep calling it sheetrock. Or crescent wrench, right? It's an adjustable wrench, as this is drywall. 1/4-inch drywall, and there's 1x furring strips that they sketched out. I don't think I'm ripping the ceiling down, simply because that's just more dirt and mess and money than she wants to get into. But I will dig out these seams. I don't know how well you can see the seams have popped. There you go. That's a pretty good shot right there. I'm going to dig out all these seams, retape it, and refloat the seams. But it appears that the 1/4 rock is, I can call it 1/4 drywall, is held in there pretty tight. Just they may have some moisture at some point in time, may have had some moisture that caused these guys to pop, or who knows, these old houses move. They move two good things. This was the wall circuit that was running the refrigerator. This is a dedicated 20 amp circuit. So that's awesome. That's one less I need to run back to the box. I'm going to use that for the countertop for the stove. This is a dedicated 20 amp circuit that was running, has its own breaker, 12-2 Romex all the way back to the box that was running the vent hood. I'm going to use that for the microwave. So that means I only need to run one additional circuit up here for the stove. It's going to continue to be a gas stove. Likely I'm going to have to bump that gas line over. That gas line needs to live in the cabinet just to the left of the stove. This is interesting to me. They ran it in, this was ran back in the day. This is actually number 12 wire that was run before they color coded it. Now all number 12 wire is yellow, and white jacketed Romex is 14. But this is, I looked, you can see the, well, I won't pull it all back down, but you can see this is 12-3. They ran two separate circuits to this plug, 20 amp. I'm not sure why, but it doesn't matter. So I'm going to take those two circuits and I'm going to drop them down here and have one circuit for the dishwasher and one circuit for the garbage disposal. So that's two less circuits that I need to run. That's pretty cool. I'm going to have to run a 20 amp circuit, 20 amp circuit up here for countertop. I'll likely run two separate, so each plug will have its own dedicated 20 amp. And then I'll run a 15 amp circuit up this wall as well to do the under cabinet lights. The undercab. So the wiring on this, and I've got a ton of room in that box, it's going to be straightforward. What made me really happy was that this is red terracotta and not asbestos flue, but that I kind of expected it to be. In this era, they ran the asbestos flues in the heater vents, the heater ducting, the vent. God bless America, I can't speak. The exhaust flues for the heaters were running that gray concrete-like pipe that was embedded with asbestos that I don't touch. But this red stuff here is a terracotta clay. This is what they make fire brick out of. But the downside of that is that it's friggin' thick. It's like 1 1/8 inch thick, and it's going to be way, way, way heavy. This roof has a pretty good pitch to it, so I haven't looked up in the attic yet. But anyhow, it's galvanized, jacketed with that ray. I'm tired. Take a deep breath. Okay. Galvanized, jacketed, terracotta pipe. Sheesh. Need to figure out what's going on with these transitions. This back room here, this mud room, this used to be the back of the house. This mud room is an addition they did at some point in time. And look at the transition. It's yeah. So I'm gonna have fun trying to figure that out. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. Okay, last but not least, as I ramble on and on, originally we were gonna put the refrigerator in here. I was gonna open this wall up, build a closet-like deal for the fridge, throw the fridge in there. I'd have to run power up and water up for the fridge. But now she's decided she doesn't want to do that because ultimately this area here is going to be where the dining room table sits. There's no formal dining room in this little house. This is a dining room kitchen combination. So she didn't like the idea of having the refrigerator right there by the table, which I could kind of understand. We hadn't accounted for the refrigerator in any of the cabinetry because she just doesn't like the look of a refrigerator. So what we're going to do is put the refrigerator now out here where this ladder is. Remember, I'm taking this door, I'm sliding this whole door this way. I'm going to put a 32-inch door, which is essentially the width of this. So the wall is going to be solid, about 49 inches out from the wall to about right there, I think is where it is, right about there. And we're going to have the opening there, a 32-inch opening, and then the fridge will just be on the other side of the wall there where she can access it. And then, because she don't want to look at it. She don't want to look at it and hear it and all that stuff inside her kitchen, which makes sense. That has a dedicated circuit on that wall. I could just make it dedicated to the fridge, which is awesome. That's one less thing I've got to run. And it saves her about 3 days of my time and labor trying to build this little closet. So what we're going to do is delete this window from the chair rail up. I'm going to plaster it shut on both sides, of course. Actually, on the back side is going to plaster all the way down. And then this beadboard, did I call it beadboard again? This V-groove, tongue and groove, wainscot, I'm going to section it in. I'm going to remove the bottom pieces, and and then this horizontal chair rail, I'll put these two little pieces off, and I'll have a continuous rail there. And I took the baseboard off just for shits and grins because I think I'm gonna run a little bit on this side when this comes out. I have to see how this all frames in and everything. There's my hands. I gotta go. It's been a long day. I sweaty, I dirty, I stink. I need a shower. And yeah, Battleship Gray, man. That was it. That was the look, I guess, to have. Yummy. All right, guys. I'll take video again tomorrow. We'll see what we can get done tomorrow. All right. See you.